Yeah, I know. I hit the wrong start up thing. So hey everybody, we got some music. We're gonna talk about the charts a little bit today, but it's my Sunday and it's the world's Monday. So anyway, kind of cool. So what's going on with crypto? This is what this is episode about. We're gonna go over some of the charting. This is kind of, I don't know, maybe a part 2 to the part 1. And I think part 2 is showing, kind of the more active train things. But let's get into it. So let's see here. Let's bring up the charts. So this is the charts that I look at. I'm sorry that I'm in the lower part of the screen. You can't see things, and I could probably get rid of the little. Well, maybe I can't. Where do I get it? Somewhere in here I can. Well, all right. I don't know where to do it. All right. You're just going to have to deal with the How to Think POTU logo and me in the corner. So quick overview. I'm setting this up to look at Ethereum this time around because that's what the Purple Ninja has been working with. And I was very pleased to get up this morning. I had no idea that the market was going to do what it did today. It was kind of exciting. But let's look at it. All right. So just quick overview. I usually have these screens. I'm all on Ethereum now. So what this is here is this is the weekly, daily, 12-hour. Look at what happened. We just went we mooned. I was literally revisiting charting with Diana yesterday. And I said, you know what you really want to see happen tomorrow, which is today, is for this thing to go down to the bottom. That is literally probably standard deviation of 3 on the Bollinger Band, and then bounce back up. It did both, because here let's look at the daily from yesterday all by itself. We'll make it big. Let me just give me a second here. All right, so this is the weekly, right? Oh, look at these. You just love this stuff. This is the daily, right? So let's go to a single pane and look at the daily. So you can, I want you to imagine what we were looking at yesterday. All right. So I can't blank out this green candle, right? So pretend this green can I do that? Can I make it go away? Here, let's just see if we can emulate yesterday. There's a way of doing it. I just don't know how. All right. If I push it off the screen. All right. And let's make this bigger. No, come here. There we go. This is kind of what we were seeing yesterday, right? This is the daily. It's just like, okay, we had this massive down thing here, kind of going sideways, right? And then there's a dip, right? I mean, just this down spike, you expect it to round out and then it extends, right? Consolidating, whatever you want to call it. All right. So I told her, I says, what you really want to see happen is it'll probably in the morning because of the weekend, right? What happens during the weekend? All right. So this is strategy, psychology, understanding the markets. I'm having a little bit of a pause in the video. Okay, but it's all right. I'm in the bottom corner. Here, let me turn this off while we talk a little bit. And while I'm talking, I'm going to be changing the screen here. All right, so what happens during the weekend? Well, the traditional markets, the markets that were established in the 1800s, late 1800s, Wall Street, right? And now there's markets all over the world, right? those markets were established during the 1800s, and it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and it's really just the one time zone, right? Eastern is the big market, the U.S. market. It's the big haka, the big ooh-wah. All right. So we're just like over 100 years old and doing the same old thing. Crypto, meanwhile, is 24/7, 365. So it creates an interesting gambling market, because when that bell rings on Friday, all of like the trusts that own Bitcoin stop trading, or Ethereum, or a whole bunch of stuff, right? I think Grayscale Trusts, aren't they the guys that do that? So they stop trading, which means whatever Friday ended on, whether it was high or low, it's fixed, right? Until Monday morning. Meanwhile, crypto is a global market. So if things Friday stop and the market's high, and then during the weekend the rest of the world sells off and takes profits, Monday morning the market might be really, really low. And as soon as they open up trading, all the automated bots say, "Oh my gosh, we're low. We have to sell and take losses," because they have their stop losses get activated, and that causes this exploding down thing. Is that what happened today? I don't know. Let's see what happened today. I don't know what happened today. I mean, I literally just got up and I worked out and did my thing. But let's look at what's happened today. Let's see. What was this? This was yesterday, 1900, Sunday. Okay, so this was yesterday over the weekend, right? This is when was this? When did this happen? 4 a.m. 1, 2, 3. What? This is Ethereum? Wait a second. This is 6 hour. Okay. 1 hour, 30 minutes. So this was last week. All right. Never mind. I'm still waking up, folks. All right. So what happened today? This is the hourly. Let me look at 6 hours. It just took off. So this was yesterday. This was last night at 9 o'clock, and it started going up. Wow. That's not what I expected to happen. $21.65, and we are testing $23.59. That's wow. That's a pretty big movement. 5%. It says over here, 114 movement so far since the beginning of the day, which was somewhere around here. UTC. Anyway, don't get in the time zone thing. It'll drive you crazy. All right. So in this case, throughout the weekend, the market went down, and when the trading opened up, there was a bunch of bots saying buy, and let's see something must have happened in the news, because there was rumors of an ETF approval. Is it still a rumor? Let's check the news. There's a little dot here that tells us the news. To push markets higher, analysts. Yeah, but why? Why is this happening? Whale accumulation goes through the roof. More news. Oh, let's see what's going on with Bitcoin. Bitcoin drives the market. 151 million poured in the crypto funds in the first week. Yeah, we already know this. All right, so guess what? So the news cycle is probably about a day behind We'll know whatever happened today will be headline news later tonight or tomorrow. All right. But what I suggested, let's go back to this. See this? Let me make this big again. This right here, we've got 2 hours and 50, well, almost 3 hours left in the day from whenever this day started. And it did what I told Dinah would be just exactly what you just say, what you're really praying for, if you're praying, was for this to happen. And it did. Now, if you remember from the first episode, we talked about the Bollinger Band, right? This is 2% deviation from wherever the price is, right? So here's this, 2%. But we'll actually usually move 3%, and I'll bet you this is about 3%. Can I adjust the Bollinger Band? I don't have it set up for. You can set up the charts where you can just pop in and change that standard deviation. But usually, so I would guess that standard deviation of 3 would be about here for today. For this, where this line is right here, is about how far it went down. It tested 3%, or 3% standard deviation on the daily. Kind of wicked. This one went crazy down, right? Now, the beautiful thing about this, so like if you're one of the simplest, I think, laziest ways of trading, it's kind of more of a swing trading where you would set traps, maybe starting about the middle on the daily, right? And then trap this thing all the way down to the psychological point, right? Remember, number one, I said 5s and 0s, right? So it's 2000 would be the big resistance, right? So I would set traps all the way down. And so what happens is this spiked out, it's buys. Here you're probably in profit, but you're buying, but you're probably wanting to get out maybe up here, or, maybe somewhere around here or in the middle here, start getting out here, maybe get rid of a third here, a third here, and a third here. I call it staged exit. So I trap on my way down to buy, and then I trap limit exits on the way out. In this case, the Purple Ninja got out. What's kind of funny was I laughed because it topped out. I told her, so we're probably going to top out and test 23.5, 5 and 0s, right? 23.5, which is exactly what it did. Went up to 23.59 so far. But when I first got up, it was right at 23.43. Anyway, she saw it. She's at work at lunch. It happened, right? And she just got out, and she made bank. And she was upside down, and you just got to get used to being upside down when you make these plays. See, profit or loss is a function of time. See, like last night, if she would have exited out, she would have taken a loss. Yeah, but instead, she just left her traps in place when they probably got all activated when that down spike happened, right? And so she bought more in her position, right? And she's kind of savvy. She probably has a little bit higher leverage as it goes down, right? And that pulls her price down. So anyway, the bottom line is she did really well on that trade, as she should, because she knows what she's doing. But we're starting to talk about the more sophisticated stuff. Now, what I just showed you, right, on the daily, right? If we look at the hourly, right? You've heard me talk about homeless David, right, on the hourly. That was when a homeless person without banking and without a home address could actually participate. Right now, their civil rights have been violated because of global fascism. I don't know what else to call it. Oh, I know. We got to stop all the trafficking. We got to stop drug trafficking, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? All that stuff existed. Human trafficking existed way before crypto. So the excuse of saying, oh, you have to do this. Oh, and you have to have home address. Oh, you need to show me a utility bill. in order to participate is a violation of your rights. But we're so busy just trying to survive in America today. We don't realize that we have about the same rights as a North Korean or an Iranian citizen. Everywhere else in the world has freedom to participate in the markets. We do not. It's to protect you. No, it's not. You need leverage in order to become wealthy in the modern era, for the most part. If you have a really, really good idea, eventually you're going to have to be like Mark Zuckerberg and get money from already wealthy people. That was what's the anomaly with crypto is people could actually create wealth out of thin air. Kind of the way it used to do when the original wealthy families created their wealth and there's real opportunity available, right? Yeah. Now we just regulated out that the little person doesn't have a chance. It's an anomaly for a little person like you or me. Anyone who wasn't born into wealth, but Donald Trump was born into wealth, if you're a fan of his, right? He wasn't a self-made anything. His allowance when he was his first month age was what, $250,000 a month as a baby. Yeah, and daddy bailed him out a few times. So anyway, that's known history now. I'm not knocking the guy. I have reasons to knock the guy. I had great respect for him until he just went all weird. I don't know how to describe it. I know there's a lot of folks that love him, and that's okay. Same birthday as me. He's just like 20 years older than I am. Or is it 10 years older? I don't know, whatever it is. So here is, what do we have here? We have the 6 hour, the 1 hour, 3rd hour. I didn't mean to get political. If you think I'm a Trump hater, I'm not. I actually voted for him the first time around. I know, hate me, the people on the left. Why would you do that? First of all, I didn't go to any of his rallies or really listen to anything other than some interviews. And he was literally the Bernie Sanders of the Republican Party. He basically adopted Bernie's platform without the commitments. And then once he was elected, he didn't honor his word. From my perspective, the reasons why I voted for him, he didn't honor his word. So he lied to me. So I don't know. Obama lied to me too. I voted for him the first term too. I couldn't vote for him the second because he didn't honor his platform. And most people, well, yeah, but he did all these great things. He did and he didn't. He didn't honor his word. And I have to learn to be disappointed, especially dealing with politics. All right. So right now, I was going to do a show on politics a little bit. I try to stay out of it because you're supposed to stay out of it. But right now, the reason why he's still even in consideration is because he's a big threat, and people they're raising money, so they're glad that he's not in jail right now. You or I would be in jail for doing half the crap he got away with so far. Yeah. Well, he sorted out, right? We wouldn't be allowed to go campaigning. All right. Be that as it may, it's just, it is what it is. I'm an independent, so, I like all my rights is what I like to say. All right. I'm off track. Apologize for that. 6 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes. So this is telling me, some of the training out there is like, well, check the 6 hour. It's a green day. Well, the green day is at the high end of the scale. So right now it's kind of iffy getting in, right? We're topping out on the hourly, right? So if it breaks through, we're like, wow, bull run, right? If it doesn't break through, we're just cycling sideways. We had a breakout today. See this red line here on the hourly? When it got above that, this is a volume indicator. This indicates a breakout. But look, it's losing steam. It's accumulating. A couple things going to happen. It's going to this over time is going to come up and it's going to narrow and it's going to create a sideways channel. I call it stair stepping. That's a very bullish movement. Over here in the 30-minute, we're saying, well, we got a red doji. So that usually means change in direction. MACD says, yeah. So what's going to happen? Most likely folks are going to start taking profits. Not guaranteed. Don't run out and do shorts yet. If you were to do a short, I don't know, the bigger time frame, the 6 hours says, look at this. It says we're just getting started. So what might happen is it just might do a little bit of profit taking and go sideways for a while before it continues its escalation up. But the Homeless David project was he only could use 3x leverage, which you don't have access to as a U.S. citizen. Sorry, unless you're already rich. You might have access to it through some kind of options or something. Yeah, you already take leverage. We call it an option because apparently if you buy an option with a premium, right, your risk is limited to your premium purchase, which has a ticking time bomb built into it because that's less dangerous than actually giving you real leverage. Poppycock. No way. So this is an example of, if I go over here in the bottom corner, you can't see it. Maybe if I change, can I change? Where am I? If I do this one, what happens? Oh, there you can see it. Oh, that's a different. The background's a little weird though. I want a background that's not distracting. Let's just try this. Let's do this one. That's better. All right. See this down here? It says strong buy. That's what that lower thing down here. This is the technicals, technical traders, the quant traders. Buy, 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 buy. Let me ask you, do you think you should be buying when everyone else is buying? When you're at the top here, is this the time to buy? No, I don't think so. Time to buy is when you're in the strong sell, when everything's like way down here, and right? That's when you should be buying. You should be selling when this is happening, right? I'm not advocating folks shorting, but if this mirror says strong buy, that says, all right, time to wait for the next crash. And then, if I was setting traps here, well, you could trade this because this is the hourly. This may go up and down between this volume support, which is the middle Bollinger Band, for a while, right? But if you don't have a lot of money and you're really risk adverse, you'd probably set your traps in somewhere around here. I mean, if you really wanted to get in, you might set your first trap in here and then just layer them down to probably, well, this is Bitcoin, so 40,000 be the next major test. But it's unlikely it'll test 42 and probably not break it unless we go into another bear run or something. But stuff happens, right? All right. But anyway, Homeless David would probably just set traps. He would, dollars. So he'd probably start in about here and then another one there. And then he'd, in a worst case scenario, have one there. But he, at 3x leverage, he had more than enough to survive. He gets stuck sometimes for weeks at a time. But he had no trading losses, and he doubled his trading account in 59 days, which is pretty impressive. No trading losses, no more than 3x leverage. Meanwhile, if we come over to the other side of the screen here, what I call the beast mode side, let me see if I can just minimize those and just make these bigger. Because these two work together for active trading. I don't know what I did to get those emojis. I didn't want emojis, but it's okay. How do I get rid of it? Oh, it goes away by itself. All right. Put this back on automatic. Put this one on automatic. And I'll explain these. So this is the part 2 of the training related to Let's go to Bitcoin. So I tell folks usually train on Ethereum because Ethereum is a little bit more forgiving. I like trading Ethereum. I just like volatility a little bit better if I'm active trading. I always tell people to do a mission one whenever you switch assets. So if I were to switch to Ethereum, I would take out $5 and I would trade till I turned it into 10 without any trading losses. Why? That's how I tune into the markets. It should freak you out that I'm saying, oh yeah, start with $5 and turn it into 10 with zero trading losses, and then you're ready to actually trade the market. I mean, that to me, in my world, that's a foregone conclusion. That's just practice. If I were to switch to Solana, right? Hey, Cindy, you doing Solana? I would start out with like $1 and trade to $2 or something, or $5. 5 to 10 or 50 to 100, whatever. I would take a small dollar amount, set up my trading plan, and then I would get into it. Right now, once I doubled my money, right? That's mission one. I'm going on mission two. I double again. So you could scale up at that point. So if you start with $5 and you want to bring in your $10,000 and start trading at the same ratio decision making you were making during mission one, you could do that. You can scale up. I have a tendency to just go, well, let's do mission 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work our way up. Why? Because why not? It's kind of fun when you start from zero. You can't do that anymore as a U.S. citizen. Prior to August 31st, 2023, you could start with no money, no banking, no home address, and they would loan you $5 of trial funds to play with for like 10 days. And that's enough to start. Can't do it now. Sure, we all feel out safer around drug cartels now because you can't do that now. Why we're not marching on Washington? Why? Because we're too geographic. We have been pigeonholed, us little people. It frosts me. Yeah, you should write in. I still do. I write in and complain about it all the time. It's called discrimination based on geography now, as well as financial discrimination. Yeah. People in Europe have freedom. You do not. People in the socialist countries have freedom. You do not. Yeah. You're right up there with Iranian citizens and North Koreans. Not as bad, though, because you can go become an e-residency of like Palau or Estonia, or I think there's like 12 other ones. But you need a photo ID to get on some of the exchanges that don't require a utility bill of all things to prove you have a residential address. Because if you're homeless, you don't get to participate. I don't know why I think I might just stop funding the ACLU, because why they're not all over this upsets me, because that's disrupting their right to pursue happiness. Oh, you got to prove you have a physical address. You shouldn't. If I got a valid ID alone, that should do it. But no, apparently not. I'm really sick of it. All right, so let's get into part 2. Okay. Now this is a little funky, but this is a 5-minute. See this one here? 5-minute here on the right, 15-minute here on the right. Why do I have the 5 and 15 over the top, right? Well, because I like to look at things vertically a little bit. I look up at the 5-minute, I look at the 15-minute. It looks like we've already run up and we're going sideways if I'm going to go trading in and out. Now, to me, risk is a function of time. The wealthy people are in and out of trades in milliseconds, automated, right? High frequency trading. You and I don't have access to high frequency trading. That requires co-location, uploading things to servers that are in the same building as the exchange that you're at. They do it in Forex. They do it in the stock market. Like Wall Street is nothing but computers and quant analysts coming up with new theories of how to beat the market. And it's just a little bit of war of a bunch of techie smart folks. The wealthy people don't even understand how their money is getting wealthier and wealthier. They outsource it. Right? We don't have we have generational wealth, so the next generation isn't really contributing much of anything other than their parents set them up for life and beyond. Yeah, they don't pay taxes either. It's kind of cool. Or they pay very little taxes compared to you or I. Those of us who work or have small businesses, we get taxed the highest. Workers get taxed the most. The whole system is upside down and backwards from what it should be. Because when America was founded, only the wealthy people paid taxes, and it was voluntary. We turned it totally upside down. You want to make America great again, start taxing the wealthy people. Because the wealthy people who founded America and fought back, right? Someone funded that, right? They're the ones that set it up that the wealthy people pay. The only reason why we have non-voluntary taxes is because of prohibition. They needed to get Al Capone. So they made him a tax cheat and arrested him for back taxes. I think that's the history. Could bring Donna in. We could have a conversation about that. That may be a rumor that I adopted as might be false information, but it made sense to me. The only people who can afford to pay taxes right now are the wealthy. You can't afford to pay taxes, not at these unlivable wages. Not even the minimum wage of $20 an hour being established in parts of California is enough. In those areas, it should be like $50 an hour just to be even to what minimum wage was, not to mention the cost of living in those areas. It's just, we don't, I don't know where we've failed in our education. We've failed in teaching logic, reason, and math. It was big when I was a kid. All right. I got segued. Sorry. Okay. I look at the 15.5. This tells me that we're not doing much of anything right now. We're already topped out. Next one, here's 3 minute and the 1 minute. So the 3 minute, if I'm looking at this, is cycling kind of nicely, right? But what's the difference between here and here? So that's 46.7, 46.9. That's $200. Huh. I could trade that. I could trade that. I think I could trade that. Well, let's bring up a spreadsheet. You don't, unless you're a Patreon member or you're one of the DDTC founders, you don't have access to the spreadsheet. Doesn't mean it's not available to you. For $5, you can get access to it. I know, I'll give this stuff away. Anna Makos, her new class is what, 3,000 some odd what dollars? It's like double what it was a few years ago, but it's a new class and everything. I'm losing my voice. So let's get this out here for you, everybody. I'll show you a spreadsheet. I went over this with Diana. Let's see here. Where Google has changed things. Here it is. Trade sizing tool. All right. Can I bring this over here? Oh, it's not wanting. Oh, my system's having problems. Did I overdo it? It's telling me that I'm offline, but it tells me that I'm still here. All right. So, trade sizing tool. Let's see. This is a custom sheet I made just for the Purple Ninja. Let's change this so that we're We can look at both things side by side. All right, let me get rid of something over here. All right. Actually, I kind of like this format a little bit. Let's see if I can make this, bring this up. All right. So I'm looking at Bitcoin. I'm going to switch to Ethereum for this part of the training. This is really more of the part. This is more probably a part 3. Maybe I should just stop, take a break, and come back to this. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop this, and we're going to get into this in the next show, get my voice back a little bit, have a little bit of tea, and we'll come back and do a part 3 type of training.